you think you made it rebuild proof? Haha, not today! Today I'm gonna show you guys how to rebuild this Nautilus. Let's go! Today I'm going to show you guys how to build a single micro coil in your Aspire Nautilus coil head. All you're going to need is 6 to 8 inches of 28 gauge Canthal, a 5/64 drill bit or something equivalent to a 5/64 drill bit, a pair of tweezers, and a blowtorch. So all I'm going to do is 8 wraps, and I want to make sure that all my wraps are as close together and as even as possible. The reason why I like using screwdrivers, it's got this wide end over here. So all I have to do is just push against there, squeezes those coils together. You want to make sure that these coils on the edges are not overlapping. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip these leads. Once I've taken the micro coil off of whatever I've wrapped it around, I'm going to take it, I'm going to place it in between the pliers, and I'm just going to clamp down lightly. Okay, just like that. And all I'm going to do is take my blowtorch and torch it, let it glow for a good 10 seconds. Once you've done that, you're going to let it cool off for a good minute or so. Right there is a perfect microcoil. Look at the edges. Edges aren't overlapping one bit. If you turn it around the other side, completely straight. Just beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this microcoil back on the screwdriver and put that aside. Okay, so today I'm going to be using a fresh pack of Aspire Nautilus coils. I'm just going to use one. Reminds me of the little chiclets. Those chiclet gums, they come in. Pretty cool packaging. Originally, this is a 1.8 ohm coil head. We're going to disassemble it, take the wick and coils out, and then we're going to insert our own. First thing I'm going to do is take this pin out. Before we take the 2 wick and coils out, see that filler on the outside? You've got that filler that's on the outside, and then on the inside of that filler is a cup, and there's notches. There's one notch right there, as you can see, and then there's that other notch. And in that other notch, the top wick is sitting in that notch making contact with that outer filler. Below that, the bottom wick is sitting in that notch, okay? So they're crossed. And what we're going to do is we're going to insert just one wick into this top section in the same position this wick and coil is. Take this rubber stopper out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here and pull this top wick out. There's one. And get the bottom one. There's the other. So there's that inner cup, and then on the outside of that inner cup is that filler. And see that notch? That's where our wick's going to go. Our single wick and coil is going to be sitting in that notch, touching each side. This side of where that filler is, and this side of where that filler is. Okay? And as you can see, there's the hole on one side, there's the hole in the other, and the juice is going to feed to that filler to our coil. Booyah! Okay, so I like to get a thicker piece of this cotton, and this is going to be our wick, and I'll get it pretty tight. I'll try to twist it into something that's even. Maybe even pull some of this cotton out right here, thin it out on this area. That's the beauty of cotton, guys. You can do what the hell you want, man. I mean, you can make your wick whichever size you want. That's what we want. We want something nice and fat. Okay, so something right in the middle, around 4 millimeters in width. And we'll obviously squeeze that down a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we've got our wick and coil. We're going to insert the wick into that coil. Alright. See how this is loose? For this type of build, I want something to fit a little bit tighter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it to tighten it up, and boom, pull her on there. Okay, so you want it to slide on there, but at the same time you want it to be a tight fit. Okay, and the reason why you want it to be a tight fit is because when you go to insert that wick and coil, you can't disassemble this barrel. You lose a lot of control, and you don't want this wick and coil sliding up and down and not being stable. Having a thicker wick inserted keeps it more stable and keeps it more sturdy. You've got to make sure that these leads are as straight as possible. It makes it a lot easier to insert it in that long barrel. Okay. Scissors work a lot easier than nail clippers. So I clipped it on that side. So now we're looking at a little bow tie. The wick sticking out from the coil, you want it to be about 2.5 millimeters in length on each side. Okay? On this side and this side. We're going to fit it right there in that notch. You see that notch straight ahead? So we're going to insert these two leads all the way down. Both of those leads are going to come out the base. Boom. Okay. Both the leads got to come through the base. Let's see if I can get a shot of this for you. Okay. See that notch right there? In between that cup and that filler? That's where this wick is going to sit. Okay? And when you pull it through using this organic cotton, both of these, the ends of the wicks are going to fold up. And that's what you want. It keeps it more sturdy, gives it more stability, and it wicks unbelievable. Okay, so I'm going to grab the leads down here, and I'm just going to pull in just like that. You can see the coil in the middle, and you want to make sure that that cotton is sitting in that notch, as you can see right there, and on that side. And you want to make sure that it's even with the edge of the filler going around, okay? You don't want that cotton sitting above that, otherwise e-liquid will not wick efficiently to that cotton and to the coils. You want that cotton sitting flush, even with that inner filler. We're going to insert this rubber stopper. Doesn't matter which lead, but one lead's going to be going through the rubber stopper and one's going to be sitting on the outside. And you got to be gentle. What I like to do is tilt it just like that. I don't want to push that wick and coil up or pull it down. But you got to be gentle, and all you're going to do is you're just going to press fit gently this rubber stopper. Just like that. And as you can see, you could tell if it moved up or moved down, it wouldn't be completely flush with that outer lining. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently pull one lead out. Okay, that's the one going down the center of that rubber gasket. I'm going to pull the one going on the outside out. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take the pin and put it inside that rubber stopper. Boom, just like that. The coil has not moved one bit. I clip these leads, try to get in there as close as possible. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 2 or 3 drops right on that coil. Next step, we're going to insert the rebuilt coil head into this Nautilus base. Screw in there until I feel that it's tight. Okay, just like that. I don't like to really, torque it until it's too tight, because then the base starts to press in and it starts to move around the coil. And you want to be careful with that. So I just go until I feel some tension. I know that it's secured in there. I'm good to go. You do not want to dry burn this coil, okay? That's the whole point of torching the micro coil, making sure that all of the edges don't overlap, that all the coils are aligned side by side, and it's absolutely as perfect as you can get it. because you're not going to be able to dry burn it. If you do that, you're risking burning the rubber gasket, which is no good. Got the tank already filled up. Just going to screw the base into the tank. Okay. Screwed it into my device. In this case, I'm using an old Provari V2. I'm going to set it to its lowest setting, 0.9 millimeter. Take a few primer puffs, get that juice to those coils. Let it sit for a good 5 to 10 minutes. We'll come back. I'm going to check the resistance. But this coil should be reading anywhere between 1.5 and 1.6 ohms. Alright, so I've let it sit for a good 5-10 minutes. Now we're going to check the resistance. Like I said, we should be getting a reading 1.5, 1.6 ohms. 1.6 ohms. Perfect. That's how I know we don't have a short. Let's go ahead and take it back to the original screen. I'll talk about how she vapes and all that gravy. Alright, that's how to rebuild your Aspired Nautilus tank with a single micro coil with a 1.6 ohm build, a single micro coil. It outperforms the dual stock setup by like 4 watts. I got it set to 4.2 volts. With the 1.6 ohm coil, it's equivalent to 10 watts. If you guys saw my review of the Aspired Nautilus, 10 watts is pretty much the maximum that I could go before I started getting a dry, burnt, scratchy hit. I've got the air hole set to 1.1 millimeter, which is the medium size, and I'm going to be doing a mouth to lungs. Okay? Full on flavor. Gotta love that cotton. I'm gonna take it down to the smallest air hole. Vapor production is not the best. At 0.9 millimeter, flavor increases. I mean, it jumps twice. Anytime you're tightening down that airflow, flavor jumps. You create more of a suction or vacuum, which draws more juice to the coil, and you're gonna get better flavor. At 4.2 volts, at 10 watts, I'm getting full on flavor. I'm actually getting better flavor than the dual stock coil at 10 watts. With the same air hole size, 0.9 millimeter, I'm gonna take her up to around 14 watts, which is 4 watts higher than the maximum you can go with the dual stock setup. Same air hole size, the smallest. Oh yeah, vapor production jumps, flavor gets more warm. Now I'm going to take it to my preferred, which is the largest air hole size, the 1.8 millimeter air hole. What? You gotta love it. Hell, I love it. 14 watts. I'm getting killer flavor, and that's with the wide open air hole. The only time I get a gurgle is if I drop down to its smallest air hole setting or a medium sized air hole setting and I'm doing mouth to lung inhales and I'm hitting it really hard. I've had it spit twice on me and it was like a drop. I opened her wide up to that 1.8 millimeter. It went away. Full on flavor, full on vapor, full on throat hit, lung fill. Gotta love it. This is the Clearmizer right now. This is the one you need to buy. All these other Clearmizers you're seeing, go with this one. You can rebuild it. You can rebuild it with the microcoil. You can use your cotton. I mean, holy shit. This is Rip Trippers. I hope that helps. Remember, smoking is dead. Vaping is the future, and the future is now.